Blacks in technology.
Blacks in technology. Blacks in technology. Blacks in technology. Blacks in technology. Blacks in technology.
Welcome, everyone, to the Blacks in Technology Bit Tech Talk podcast, a show where we talk to Black people who are engineers, innovators, educators, inventors, change makers, and entrepreneurs doing amazing things in the world of technology. The Bit Tech Talk podcast is where they show how they are stomping the divide by sharing their stories, experiences, ideas, knowledge, and perspective on tech with the Bit community.
Chanel Power is an experienced chemist and a mathematician turned software engineer. She's also the founder and CEO of the MentorMe Collective, an organization that provides free technical training, career coaching, mentorship programs, corporate partners, and dynamic education and development events with members that span around the globe. Chanel has also taken the New York City area by storm with her new leadership role as president of Blacks in Technology's New York City chapter. Her mission is to cultivate community, develop Black talent, and amplify awareness and training resources that will increase Black representation in the tech industry across the Tri-City area. And now, your host of the Bit Tech Talk podcast, Greg Greenlee.
Hey, Chanel, welcome to the podcast.
Hey, I'm excited to be here.
I'm excited to have you after some weeks or even months of email tag and cancellations and things like that. On my part, I'll admit, things got kind of busy, but I'm glad that we were able to get you on a podcast.
I'm excited. This has been one of the pillars of my technical journey following the Blacks in Technology Foundation and even the different chapters. So I'm very excited to be here. This is quite nostalgic.
Tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're from, a little bit of your education and things like that.
Absolutely. So, I am New York. I am born and raised from New York City, Queens to be exact. I was born and raised from hey, you know what's up. But yeah, my mom was a single mom. She raised us in the faith, and obviously growing up in church, growing up with education also being at the forefront of our household, there was no room for mediocrity. So that is where my background in mathematics and chemistry came into play. My mom recognized early, you can say she identified early on that I was very gifted in those spaces. And so she continued to have me hone in on that. I am a software engineer also at Apple, doing some really, really incredible work here with our financial payments team. So very excited about that. And so outside of that also, I have an organization called MentorMe Collective, where it is our goal to democratize tech and also enable equity through innovative educational programs in pursuit to close the Black wealth gap. So just really excited, common themes of service, community, and people really rang true throughout my journey. And so, very excited to be a part of the podcast.
Very cool. I'm guessing you attended college?
Absolutely, yes.
What college did you go to?
I went to UMBC in Baltimore County. A lot of people, you think that, it's the University of Maryland with the Terps, even though, go Terps. But we're the Retrievers, so go Retrievers.
The Golden Retrievers, really? I never heard
Yes. Yep.
What was the mascot an actual Golden Retriever?
It was the Chocolate Retriever. I don't know what the name of the chocolate one is. I'm just going to call him the chocolate one.
Nice. So you're an experienced chemist, mathematician. How did you said your mom kind of recognized your high, aptitude for math and chemistry. How did that come about? And how did she recognize that? Were you like writing complex equations on the window, and how did that come about?
Yeah. So honestly, from an early age, like as early as 2. My mom always tells me the story about how my brother was preparing to go to pre-K. And I, out of nowhere, she said she doesn't even understand how I even got dressed or found a backpack. But honey, I was ready at the door talking about I want to go to school too. And so from
Nice.
that age, they were able to get me in. And from this preparatory school, they started noticing like different patterns of what they say there were levels of very high intellect, right? With how I identified patterns, how I was early on with knowing like my numbers, like the alphabet,
Mm-hmm.
and even down to understanding how to build sentences and communicate. So from there, she was like, and my brothers did as well. So I don't want to say that they was they wasn't very high in intellect. They were, but that
Yeah.
was one of the most earlier on spaces. So anywho, in that space, my mom she realized that there was an educational need there, and so the school provided her with different tools to help me hone in on that. So whether that was Legos, whether that was through different like Leapfrog
Mm-hmm.
programs, earlier on, like that was when Leapfrog was just starting child,
Yeah. Yeah.
and like different kinds of like
Leapfrog.
card games. Exactly.
Yeah.
Card games, word searches, things like that. And so
Okay.
later on, I guess when I was maybe in elementary school, she started placing thought patterns or the thought process of becoming a doctor in my
Mm.
mindset. And so I was always really good, like I said, at mathematics, and now further on in my career, science. And growing up Black, listen, if your mama tell you to jump, you just be saying how high. So I said,
Right.
okay, I'm supposed to be the doctor. I'm gonna be obedient. And that's what happened. And
Okay.
further on down the line, I did go to school for it. I did a lot of different internships at the University of Connecticut, Toyota Research Institute, even for UMBC for the prototype and design lab. And so throughout that journey of understanding like regenerative engineering and cultivating different kinds of research programs for like different kinds of bone cancers and doing like surgery on mice and all that kind of stuff, I was
Wow.
interested in it. Yeah, I did. Child, honey, your girl was embedded in medicine. Okay.
Yeah. So,
Um, but towards the end of that, I realized that I wasn't really happy, and I felt like I wasn't really leaning towards a space where I was called and destined to be, even though I was good at it.
yeah.
I don't know if it was my purpose. It wasn't my design purpose to fulfill. So that's when I honestly just began to pray. I'm a woman of faith, and the Lord led me to technology through Apple.
Very cool.
BIT is always focused on forming new partnerships and opportunities to assist the community and our members with their continued professional growth and development. If you'd like to partner with us, send an email, inquiries@blacksintechnology.net.
So going back a little bit, what's the life of a? So did you work as a chemist or more of a on the mathematician side of things? What?
That's such a great question. So I did both. So in various portions of my undergraduate career, there might have been a summer where I worked in a biochemical lab with
Right.
chemical engineers who constructed different kinds of regenerative engineered extracellular matrices, right? And so we would host cells on there. We would count them. We would cultivate different kinds of algorithms to guess early onset of cancer in various cells. And then maybe the next summer, I was working in a mathematical physiology lab where, again, we were still doing like different kinds of algorithms for machine learning. At the time, I didn't even know that was machine learning. But we leveraged like MATLAB and like XPPI and SAS and R and Python to create these algorithms. So at the time, I was more so just here for, the internship paycheck.
Right.
I didn't know it was really cultivating me for this moment right here.
So did you do it? I know you mentioned R, you mentioned Python, and I know those two languages are usually used for like data manipulation and things like that. So were you coding at that time?
Yes, I actually learned, and I didn't realize how much of it was almost like miraculous, to be honest, in that moment. I didn't realize it was like that. I've always been a person that was very results driven. And so during those, I will say like my second to last internship, which was at Mount Sinai, actually, and their surgery department, that's when I began to develop these software engineering skills with MATLAB and Python. And so my goal was to quantify data, read that into our specific systems, and build out different visualizations for scientists when it came to how they wanted to propose specific research, or like to get grants and stuff like that to show that their research is making headway. And so, yeah, those are the early stages of me being a software developer. Sorry, not software developer. I'll say more so like research software engineer, and then now obviously software.
So besides the coding skills that you obviously obtained during that stint, like what other like skills, habits, experiences did you bring from like being a chemist and a mathematician that is serving you well now as a software engineer?
Yes. So I definitely would say, so let me take 3 steps back, right? So outside of my more technical side of being a chemist and a software engineer, and a mathematician, what I don't normally say a lot is that I actually also minored in sociology. So I was very much a person that always wanted to understand the social aspect of people and societies and hierarchies and things like that. And I felt like that would also help me with being a better doctor, right? However, it's helped me with just being a better person in general. And so being in a technical space, you have to be a person that is able to communicate effectively, understand really how to read the room, right, with emotional intelligence, and then also be a person that is likable, because other people will want to like you and want you to work with them as well. And that helps you with growth for your career and also, honey, monetarily. So
exactly.
I can definitely say that also played a part. But even in all of that, right, I want to move a little bit more so towards like the intersection, because that was a space where I was looking for as well. Anything that I did, I always wanted it to be a derivative of medicine. And so I had an internship for a lab at my old alma mater, UMBC, that was called the Prototype and Design Lab. And so our job was to be UX researchers and etc. When it came to creating assistive technologies. And so I had 2 roles there. One, I worked with the Toyota Institute of Research, and we were working with folks who had everything from early onset with vision impairments and hearing impairments all the way to very acute. And we were trying to curate and design a mall GPS system for them to be able to use. Because as you know, the mall is loud, there's so many people. And so when you have different kind of accessibility needs, it can be daunting, right? But you still want to be able to enjoy life as well. So that was a part of some of the earlier research that I did there with assistive technologies. I also leaned into, again, with prototypes for folks who had motor impairments. We created different kinds of irregularly shaped 3D prints to help them with their grips. So if they were like, regular things that we probably take for granted, like opening up a door or holding our pencil or even holding a toothbrush, they needed grips for. And so myself and other researchers were able to, kind of interview them, have them like squeeze different kinds of putty. From there, we did like different kinds of scans with our 3D printer and was able to curate, a very affordable version of technology for them to use every day.
That's pretty cool. Did you find that work? I mean, because now as a software engineer, full-time software engineer, and I don't know, like, you're working in, I guess, with the financial payment systems for Apple. Do you miss that kind of fulfilling work that led directly to helping people as opposed to kind of what you do now? Or
that's a really good question. So again, most people don't know this as well. I actually started my career at Apple in retail. And so in the retail space, I was called a creative, which is like almost like a teacher that helps teach folks about our technology. Everything from how to use it to how to use it if you have specific disabilities, and then also how to enjoy and enrich your life. And so my specific role as a creative was to lean into the accessibility space, because again, when I was taking my year off, I was like, okay, as long as I'm doing something that is adjacent to medicine, then I can do this. And so that's why I leaned into accessibility there. And it was my job to host different kinds of career sessions with Johns Hopkins doctors and University of Maryland doctors who, again, dealt with early onset patients for hearing impairments. vision impairments, motor impairments as well, and even down to very acute. So I was teaching them how to utilize our technologies to help their patients when it came to continuing I shouldn't say regular life, but, everyday life as normal as it possibly could still be. And so I did that for about a year and a half, or even 2 years actually, and then I transferred or transitioned into the more technical role that I have now. But to your I guess to your point and to your question, do I miss it? I will say I don't specifically miss like the accessibility, like the more like vigorous, like how do you say, the rigorous development of like curriculum in that part, because I'm able to implement like curriculum and content in the the processes that we have for the software that we're building here. So everything that I did, I didn't have a chance to miss simply because I'm able to still utilize that, but just in a different way.
Do you have a product or service that you would like to share with the BIT audience? Or maybe you'd like to support the BIT community and do your part in helping us with stomping the divide? Start by sponsoring one of our podcasts. Please email us at contactus@blacksintechnology.net.
Let's talk about MentorMe. You're the CEO, the founder. What is MentorMe, and why did you found it?
Yeah, so similar. So Greg was telling me a little bit about his story. So plug and shout out to you. But similar to your thought process, right? So when I entered into tech in general, coming from a completely different space of medicine, I had cultivated a community already there. I was very familiar with it. I knew the ins and the outs and the nuances. But when I came over to tech, I realized that the first thing that I needed to have was community. Community, it empowers you, it enables you, it strengthens you, it stabilizes you, and it also fertilizes you when it comes to your growth. And so I knew that I would not be able to sustain myself or last in this space. But as I was learning that about me, I looked around and was like, where are the rest of me, right? Where is the rest of me? Like, where are the people? And so in that space, I realized that, there had to be a bridge to help other folks get in. And this is around the time, because I started thinking about it, but then how you might have self-doubt and you're like, who's going to listen to me? Like, what do I have to give? That kind of thing.
I know all about it. Yep.
You know what I mean? So, but during that time, or I should say during the time of Breonna Taylor, the killings of Breonna Taylor, Ahmaud Arbery, and George Floyd, it ignited a fire within me. And I began, again, me being a woman of faith, I began to pray and say, Lord, how can I help my people? Like with tactical results. I don't mind, like, obviously going out and protesting and doing, all the other things. But for me, I was like, how can I, again, measure impact and lasting impact with me being a very results-driven person? And I began to, like, find out about the Black wealth gap. And I said, what in the hoopty-smoopty? So I heard about it, but I didn't understand how detrimental this data is when it comes to the people of color, specifically within the Black community. And I said, Lord, I know what kind of freedom I have experienced financially, being able to liberate even my family and give them experiences. For instance, I was able to afford a tomahawk steak for my uncle, but and let me say this. My uncle is a man who loves steak and potatoes, okay? So he has never had a tomahawk steak in his 60 years of living. With me being in tech, having this kind of money, being able to afford caterers and things like that, I was able to see another level of joy within him that gave me joy. And so I think it's important for us to see and understand that when we are able to do financially well, the people around us feel well. They feel joy. And so that's the memory and the emotions that I felt when it came to me wanting to build MentorMe Collective. I wanted people to feel free. I wanted people to be liberated. I wanted people to have the ability to cultivate and build wealth and do that quickly with less labor intensive work. And so that's when we came up with this. I said we, as in me. It came from turning into like Netflix and popcorn to me putting a post on LinkedIn and in May, and 300 people signed up for resume reviews and career coaching. And from there, was able to spin up a wonderful program that has helped over 230 plus people begin
Mm,
six-figure careers in tech, totaling $26 million in total
that's
compensation.
amazing.
Yeah, so it's I originally thought it was just going to start and stop with 2020, but
Mm,
to my excitement, I'll say that it has totally continued, and every year it continues to grow, expand, and evolve. So we have about 35,000 members across the world,
nice.
globally as well, and so we're just doing really great work here, and just excited.
That's so cool. Your story is very similar to my story, and even when you get down to talking about financial independence and
Mm-hmm.
building wealth, and because a lot of people think that, and I have to remind people at times, like, I'm not here to solve your diversity problems.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I have to sometimes let organizations know I'll assist you,
Mm-hmm.
given the programs that we have, given the access to the pipeline that we have, but I'm not here to solve it.
Mm-hmm.
And what I mean by that is, this is really for us to be able to get into an industry where you can achieve a certain level of wealth
Yes.
and be able to do things that you weren't able to do before. Take care of your family, build generational wealth. I tell people all the time, this has allowed me to be able to buy the type of house I want,
Come on, Mr. Greg.
uh,
Go.
the the cars that I want,
Yep.
not have to say no to my kids all the time because I
Yep.
don't have it. Be able to throw parties and invite people over and let
Mm-hmm.
them be able to be in this environment and be together and
Mm-hmm.
be able to help family members out when they need it. Now it's not a
Mm-hmm.
thing of, man, like, oh, like I don't have it to give.
Right.
It's here you are. Let me know when you can pay me back.
Right.
And we're cool. That
Right.
type of thing. Go on vacations.
Come on,
So
Mr. G.
and also it allowed me to be able to bootstrap bit. Like,
Come on, Mr. G. You in
this
the
was
bag now. Come
yeah.
on, Mr. G.
So when people talk about diversity and inclusion in tech, and I'm like, I'm doing this so other people can do what I did, be
Mm-hmm.
able to invest in themselves on a number of different ways. Not just maybe have your business,
Mm-hmm.
but also real estate. I've got a couple
Mm-hmm.
of properties. Some investments. That's
Yes.
those types of things that you may not have had the opportunity to do before, right?
And
And
Mr.
then
G. Mm-hmm.
and then you can, later you can, build wealth for your kids, put money away in
Mm-hmm.
savings for them and let that grow as well. And then when they're ready for college and you're ready to retire, whatever, they have a head start that you didn't have.
And the common theme that you just said here that is so powerful was that money allows you to have experiences that give you joy and fulfillment.
Yes.
I mean, and again, it wasn't until just, I mean, what, 40, 50 years ago, we were able to even have these kind of jobs, right? Like
Yeah.
60
Oh
years
yeah.
ago. So thinking about, first of all, not being able to have the ability and the freedom to read and learn.
Yeah.
Now, okay, you can read and learn, but it has to be segregated and you can only be this kind of person in society, right?
Right.
And have this kind of job. Then it translating into, okay, now we have to have equal opportunity and things like that. And, obviously through the different wonderful work that our champions have done, Martin
Right.
Luther King, Jesse Jackson, and so on and so forth. But I just want to say, like, it was never intended for us to have joy, peace,
Hmm.
freedom when it
Yeah.
came to having finances of a certain caliber.
Right.
So now being able to be here, it's important for us as a people to let go of the comfortability of mindset of, well,
Hmm.
I'm good, so that's all that matters. You
Yeah.
know, we have to take that away, and honestly, sometimes it even creates like a level of elitism in our mentality. But we have to understand that
Boy.
we have
Yeah.
to build as what I'm saying. We have to lift as we climb.
Yeah.
Because if it was not for, honey, all the people that came before us, you would have nowhere to stand, sit, or even have a table or a
Right.
chair at the table.
Right.
Let me not get to going down that child because here I am with the passionate, the
No,
passionate conversation, but it's so important.
it is, because early on when I was building Blacks in Technology, I was up against some of that. I was
Mm-hmm.
because Blacks in Technology, everything was being bootstrapped, coming out of my pocket. It wasn't like we were making a name for ourselves, but it wasn't like I was like $1 million startup or anything like that. And I would notice just going around people who had startups, like they would have this mentality that you were, at least it felt like that you were less than. Right, you were less than them because you're not building $1 million or multi-million dollar startup, so why am I talking to you? That type of thing. And it's like I'm doing something that is going to help the people. Like I understand, you have your startup, but I never understood that mentality. I also never understood the mentality where you have people talking down to people with jobs. I can never work for someone. Why not? You never know what that could, like me working in tech and working from someone has allowed me to build my business, has allowed me to build wealth in other areas. So if you take, your job and you can turn that into supplemental income and things like that, what's wrong with having a job? No matter what, you're working for someone in some capacity anyhow.
That is so good.
But I've run into that as well, and it always rubs me the wrong way. I don't like that mentality.
Absolutely. And I feel like, to your point, how can we all be free? How can we all experience freedom if, we have these limited mindsets? So again, +1 to that for sure.
Like that. Yeah. Kind of, you stated that you have like 35,000 members. Like what's the ultimate goal, for MentorMe? Like where do you kind of see that?
Yeah. So, I guess, let me say this. So, with our values, like really anchored in support, enablement, and access, our goal is to provide like, free, competitive, technical training, mentorship programs, providing, powered by corporate partners and sponsorships in order to change the game when it comes to education. Again, and you guys might have heard me earlier in the podcast talk about this. Education is so important to me, and it's so passionate too. Like, it's a passionate topic for me because I understand the power of education, but also the limit that wanting to obtain a certain level of education can bring a person, right? And even down to boot camps. Boot camps are thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
For the single mom who might have interest in that, but only is making it paycheck to paycheck, how is that plausible? Yeah, but what if within her means, and what if it was, a part of her destiny to become a designer or an engineer? So for me, the goal is by 2030, we want to have had 1,000 people total, at least, obtain careers, trained and obtaining careers in tech, whether that be engineering, design, research, product, cloud, cybersecurity, because we are looking to develop more tracks. Actually, we're getting ready to launch our second fellowship cohort for folks of color who are looking for free technical training and mentorship. So that's our goal. By 2030, we want to be able to obtain, have folks, at least 1,000 folks, obtain and be trained to start their careers in tech.
Love it. That's excellent. That's excellent. How many people are working with you right now? Is it?
Yeah.
You have other staff or?
Absolutely. Yep. So we have a staff of about 20 or 24 people. Yeah. So folks from learning and development, again, for our fellowship program. We have folks within marketing, so helping us with content and content strategy. We have a referral zone where we are, again, creating that equity and access for folks who are looking to get into tech. So we have somebody there. We have data engineers, operations, partnership and strategy and finance. We have a whole bunch of folks, designers and researchers. So we are definitely growing and thriving. So, if y'all are listening and you're interested in being a part of the mission, totally feel free to come on over.
What's up, everyone? We hope that you're enjoying this episode of the Blacks in Technology Bit Tech Talk podcast. Do you or someone you know have a dope story that they want to share with our Bit audience? Blacks in Technology is seeking guests to be on our podcast. We're looking to highlight the journeys and experiences of Black women and men in the tech industry. So if you know of someone, send them our way. Shoot us an email, to contact us at blacksintechnology.net or click on the link in the show notes and fill out our form. We're looking to hear from you. So let's switch gears here. Let's talk about your participation with BIT. You're the president of the New York City chapter. Once held by our executive director, Dennis Schultz. Tell us how that whole thing came about.
First of all, I love Mr. D. Okay, Mr. D is a mentor of mine. I've been watching him.
Okay, I know he hates when I do this because I give him so many props.
Yes,
because he is there was some behind the scenes things that happened in the past couple of years, and he's really been a lifesaver. And he's there was some other things that were going down that were impacting me in a negative way, and he just kind of held the fort, held me down. Wow. And so I always give him his due because he's like people. They ask me the question like, oh, so, do you do BIT full time? And I'm like, no. So they say, oh, you have the for-profit business for BIT. You have a nonprofit and you work and you have a family and 2 young kids that you see. I'm like, yeah. How do you do all this? And I look at Dennis that way. I'm like, man, how do you manage? Because under his leadership as executive director, like BIT has really exploded. And I'm always just like, and of course I'm still, pretty much involved in everything like that. But he just essentially kind of like took the reins and just steered this whole thing. And he's I don't know, that's my brother.
I love him, and I love that so much. It's so beautiful to just hear you and how you talk about him. You don't, again, not to throw shade, but you really normally don't hear a lot of leaders talk with that much appreciation and love. So I definitely want to give you a shout out for that. And also, I know it's hard to sometimes let go of the reins and let someone else kind of help steering your vision. So also giving you flowers for that. And, trusting Mr. D to help you with implementing this vision. But yeah, Mr. D has meant so much to me. When I first got into tech, you all was the first community that I joined. I literally went on Google and Googled Blacks in Technology. And not in technology, but I said Black technology community. And you all were the first person, to join. So I joined online, honey. I got the Slack information and I was plugged in. And even folks from there, I was able to actually grow like my mentorship program again back in 2020. That's where some of the folks came from too. So anyway, BIT means so much to me, and I'm very honored and grateful to be a part of the New York City chapter. Over the past 2 years, I've been very much involved again with building MentorMe Collective. But to your point, I don't want to just. I'm a person that doesn't want to just feel like I'm siloing myself from the other spaces around me, right? Especially when there's so much things that we each can give each other, and so many blocks that we have when it comes to building, right, for our lives. And so for me, I reached out to Mr. D, really just wanting to be a part in any kind of way. Didn't even know there was an opening for the presidency spot. But I told him, I said, hey, I definitely would love to kind of be a part in any kind of leadership capacity where I can help curate like workforce development or like helping with like resumes and all the stuff that I do with MentorMe Collective. I was like, I want to be able to do that here because you all helped me, gave me confidence, gave me wisdom, gave me love and support. So I was raised, honey. You don't forget about the people that started with you. So I wanted to give back in that way, and that's when he presented me with this opportunity, which I was not only honored that he did, but I took it and ran with it. You hear me? Because I know how much it means and will mean also to the New York City community. So I'm very excited to be a part and to cultivate community, cultivate relationships, build partnerships, and see the folks in New York City grow and again obtain those careers that they may not have had, or if they do have, if they're looking to connect with people that they might not have known, honey, we're going to build that community.
Very cool, very cool. Well, we're happy to have you, definitely. And it's so good to hear, you, because we've been communicating through email and everything like that,
Mhm.
and it's just so great to hear your enthusiasm. And I'm pretty sure you bring that to the table with anything that you do, and that
Mhm.
serves Bit well, and I'm pretty sure it serves MentorMe well. But I know that's the type of attitude and that we need, because one of the things with Bit is you have people that may be new to tech,
Mhm.
and sometimes it can be intimidating to
Mhm.
reach out and ask for help,
Mhm.
especially if you're in a leadership position and those people don't want to feel like they're bugging you. Um,
Child,
it,
yes.
it's good to kind of have that attitude so that people feel invited, they feel included. So
Yes.
I love hearing it. I love
Absolutely. And let me say this too.
it.
Like obviously, again, mission is to cultivate community, develop Black talent, and amplify awareness and training resources that BIT has. But none of this is even possible with the team that has also come on board. We literally just spearheaded in January, and we now have a team of like almost 8 people,
Nice.
all coming from specialized spaces. So shout out to John, shout out to Billy, shout out to Amaka. And Kennedy, and also Jara, who is helping us with curating programming for this year and to take
Nice.
over. Yeah.
So what's your goal for the New York City chapter? Where do you kind of see that heading?
Listen, we are coming with authentic imprints. Okay, so I want to make sure that, and let me not say me as in me, but like all of us on the team.
Right.
It's a goal for us to not only have folks have opportunities to obviously build community and network, and meet new people, and learn a little bit more about like what tech is, but it's
Mm-hmm.
important for us to develop people with practical skills in helping them to obtain their dreams of getting into tech. So our goal is to
Nice.
partner with various people. We are going to give y'all an early on look into the future. We are literally right now cultivating a bounce back from this layoff career event with some
Oh,
awesome
nice.
partners.
Yeah.
We're looking to leverage partners of Bit in NYC to kind
Okay.
of open up the space, like corporate spaces, and have folks come on in and
Right.
understand and see what the culture of different companies is like, rub shoulders with employees as well, and have intimate conversations around what it looks like to be a person of color in tech at specific companies.
Mm.
Obviously, cultivating talent pipelines, right? So,
Right.
again, we're not just here just to talk, laugh, and smile, honey. We want to see you getting in seats, okay? So that's something that's also important for us too, and just making sure that we're also pouring into our children. There's a lot of different resources here in the city, even with my specific company that I want to leverage, specifically like what's learning how to code in Swift playgrounds,
Nice.
giving children the ability to come, to the Apple Store and have an intimate like coding session. So that's something that we're going to definitely do. We have back to school drives and giveaways. We have, y'all, I'm
Wow.
not going to tell you about this, but we have another mini summit that's coming on in NYC for folks who love to game. So gaming while Black, okay. So we're going to be leveraging other things as well. So we're just super excited.
Wow.
We have a roadmap to success, literally something that's happening every single month. So please plug in if you want to know how to get involved. Definitely follow us
That's
on
nice.
LinkedIn. Subscribe to our newsletter. If you don't have that, definitely follow us on LinkedIn and message myself and
Mm-hmm.
anyone else on the team, and we'll get you. We'll get you plugged in.
I'm gonna have to come up. I've never been to New York.
Listen, pull up, honey.
I'm gonna have to. Yeah, I'm gonna have to do that. Come to one of the meetups, and
Yes, honey. We not playing, honey.
yeah,
Our first meetup is this March, March
nice.
1st. Yep, absolutely. We got a discounted menu at this nice restaurant as well. We're gonna have a live DJ. It's gonna be super dope.
Oh
So
wow.
come
Yeah,
on,
you
come
guys are
on, come
putting in
on.
that. You guys are putting in that work.
Oh, we ain't playing, honey. We coming.
What's the legendary rapper, battle rapper from Harlem? Loaded up.
Yes,
What do you say? You gonna get this work?
you gonna get this work, Mr. G.
You gonna get this work?
You hit it on the nail. Absolutely.
I like that. I like it. So what's next for you? You're working at Apple. You're running MentorMe. You're the president of Bit NYC. What's next for you?
You know what? I think I just want to be in this space and be dominant. Uh,
Mm,
what I've been learning is to leverage the people around me and to continue to cultivate engagement with them, excitement with them, but also to hone in on their skills and help them also achieve. So as I am doing all of these things, right? Again, engineering, CEO of MMC, MentorMe Collective, and also president of BIT. I want to be intentional. I want to see growth in my team. And I want to continue to see us build and cultivate an imprint on this New York City area. Next for me specifically,
yeah,
you know what? Yeah, I just want to be dominant. I just want to be in this space
okay.
and really, yeah. No
That's a good
specific
answer.
plans as of right now.
Well, that's great. Before we hop off of here, why don't you let people know how they can find you, how they can find MentorMe, on
Absolutely.
your social
So
media things?
absolutely. So yeah, you can follow me or connect with me also on LinkedIn at Chanel Power. I'm also on Instagram at the Doctor That Prays and or Mentor Me Collective. Definitely feel free to follow us on Mentor Me Collective. But most importantly, y'all go follow Blacks in Technology New York. Okay, we on LinkedIn, we on Instagram, we on Twitter. Like I said, we are coming. We taking over #Prime. Okay. So we are so excited and we cannot wait to see each and every one of you. If you are not in New York, but you plan to travel in the near future in this year, please plug in with us because we will be having events happening every month. So again, we would love to see you, even if you are our distant cousin.
Last but not least, are you going to be at BitCon this year?
Absolutely. Listen, I'm looking to be a speaker. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. Yeah.
And provide some awesome content as well. So I'll be submitting my proposal for that. But I'm very excited.
Very
I hope
nice.
to see you there too.
Yeah, definitely. I'll be in the building. 100%.
I'm so excited. I'm so honored to have been on the podcast, Mr. G.
I'm glad we finally got it all squared away, or I got it squared away.
Life be lifing, okay? So this was the perfect time and the opportunity that was presented for us to have it today. So again, I'm very honored and very grateful. And thank you so much for considering me to be a value add on the platform.
Thank you. I would definitely appreciate you being here and wish you the best of luck with everything, especially MentorMe. And looking to see, the good things that come out of Blacks in Technology NYC.
Oh yeah, I can't wait to see you. Hopefully we'll see you, you know what I'm saying, at one of the events.
Yeah,
pull up
for
with
sure.
The ceilings missing, you know what I'm saying?
I'll come up there with Dennis since he's from, that area. So
yes, I'm so excited.
He knows how to get around, so.
Yeah, he gonna give you the 1-2-1-2.
I know. Well, it was great talking with you, Chanel. I appreciate it, and good luck, like I mentioned before, and we'll talk soon.
Thanks, Mr. G. Have a wonderful one. And yes, y'all, shout out to Mr. G and the Blacks in Technology space.
Thank you.
All right, bye.
Take care, Chanel.
Take care.
Blacks in Technology.
Blacks in Technology. Blacks in Technology. Blacks in Technology. Blacks in Technology. Blacks in Technology.